everyone's a slave. But what's the point of doing shit if you ain't getting paid?
I mean, I tell you what, even the jobs that paid me nothing, like when I was first learning them, it was like, all right, I can do this. You just need somebody to get the plates and make them go from here to here. I can be the master of that. I was really into that, and I can do that. But after a while, it's like, you guys treat me like shit, and I get the plates from here to here every fucking time, and you talk down to me and shit. What's going on?
Jesus,
you're counting my lunches. Like, you're looking at what I'm eating. You're like figuring out when I'm going out to smoke. Like, all of a sudden, you're in my shit. But all you said you wanted from me was the plates to go from here to here, and I'm getting the plates from here to here.
God, that was the most accurate representation of how I feel when I get a job. At first, I'm helpless. I'm a little baby. I'm sucking off the tea to the manager to tell me what I need to do. You know, I don't want to, my wings aren't fully formed yet. And then once I learn what I'm doing, I'm like, you know, y'all could treat me a lot better for this. I deserve a lot more for this.
Wow, this is some bullshit right here. Now that you kicked me out of the nest and I'm flying through the sky and trying to flap my wings here, I don't think you're giving me enough.
I don't like this.
You didn't set me up right.
Before we commence expelling this ghost from this location, before we save Jake from the lock, I will light the ceremonial herb that will give us the sight, that will give us the power we need to set Jake free. My Twitter's not working out here. Let's see if you can get a ghost. Go ahead and try. I summon the ghost into ghostly ghostness. Come the fuck out if you're a real ghost. Now. Demand it. This is how we fucking hunt ghosts. And as we've pointed out, and as we've said, there are no ghosts. So this is where the ghosts live, from what we know. And he's not home. Let me see. Let me try this. Jake, you may overtake my body. I accept you into my heart and soul. Please, if you are here, take control of me, use me as a vessel. Gross. Nothing. Yeah, no ghosts. So I guess the lesson of Beaver Creek is there's no such thing as ghosts, there's no God, and the Bible is a lie. Off to Helltown to find out what the government's up to in the middle of fucking nowhere, Ohio. Hell yeah, bumping out here. Can I get some of this safety herb in my lungs, please? And thank you, are welcome here. Jake, you can't have any because they drug test. Yeah, if you go to work, man, you're gonna get drug tested. Jake, you son of a bitch! You get out here! Hey, Jake! Ain't coming. He ain't coming because he's afraid of me, Brian Quinby from Street Fight Radio. Brett, would you like a shot at Jake?
Yeah.
I just fell in a hole. That was Jake. That was all Jake. I think we found the ghost. Jake won't let you see your mention. He's like, don't look at your phone while you're at work, motherfucker.
Can you imagine being that sensitive? Like you.
Well, that's
like
what
that
they're
is the
PC as
ultimate.
hell. Hey, you know what? This is the freest goddamn country, and it's so free that if you don't stand up, you aren't a free person. And goddamn it, boy, if you don't stand up right now, you ain't free. Because you have the freedom to do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, I have the freedom to make you feel bad for doing the freedom. Just get up and say you love it. Just get up right now, Copernic. God damn it. It's so free that you can't do it. You have to. It's free because there's only one way to be. That's why it's free. So be that. Damn you. They don't have anything to live. I mean, their kids hate them. They don't have, all their money got stolen by banksters and shit. Healthcare's running through the fucking roof.
Oh my God, have you heard the news? Kids are dying of Kratom.
That's not true.
They're injecting it into their veins.
I don't think that's happening.
An ABC Action News exclusive. A mom says a popular herb killed her son.
The most recent death happened in early June. Kratom, also known as metrogenine, was one of 4 drugs blamed for his death.
This was like the devil drug.
It really is just a green powder that makes people feel better.
Yeah, it's a leaf. It grows from the ground, you smash it up, you make a tea out of it, you throw it down the back of your throat, you eat some capsules, and you feel better, your mind's clear. And most people that use Kratom don't have access to healthcare or prescriptions or any of that regular medicine stuff. They get it from local stores or online.
Let's do an example here. You're a young person. You don't understand how all this works, so let me explain this to you. When you get hurt in your older age, let's say you're 34, you work on a roof, you fall off, and you crush your fucking heel, right? It's all shattered. The doctor 10, 15 years ago was like, that's fucked up, that really hurts. You're gonna need some opioids to kill that pain. And then the DEA says, no, you can't have those anymore. These doctors have to tighten up their prescriptions. And now you don't have any. You can't afford them. What do? You can take Kratom. It has the same effects, it's less addictive, and it's more gross. So that even brings down the use. You're not gonna use it as much. Kratom kills the pain in your body. It also cures social anxiety.
The government's solution to stuff like this is always prohibition, which means putting more people in jail.
How big is your appetite for the war on drugs? I'm sure it's small. It's shrinking every single day. Don't let them continue it. Don't let them outlaw more stuff.
Good point.
Thank you. You know, you probably hear people constantly talking about this horrible thing called capitalism.
I have.
Yeah, you've heard that?
Yes.
You're like, what? How does capitalism affect me? I will tell you, it runs your entire fucking life. You've probably heard of socialism or communism. Communism. And they say, they try to control your entire life. Your whole day is taken away from you. What control do you have over your day now?
Most people have to be chained to a desk for 40 hours a week, and they're not allowed to leave.
When you wake up in the morning and you feel like shit and you have to wipe the sleep from your eyes and like look around and be like, why does this have to happen this early in the morning? That's a capitalism.
And it controls everything, like your healthcare, your education. It all comes down to making money, but some things just don't make money. Honestly, ask yourself, how afraid are you of getting an injury and how that could possibly fuck up your life?
Yeah. You're being stopped from skateboarding, breakdancing, doing anything fun, because if you get injured, you're fucked forever. You can't go to work.
And so then you have all these people that say, well, we can make a kinder capitalism, a more conscious capitalism. It isn't gonna fucking happen. We need anarchy, we need socialism, we need communism, we need anything but more capitalism.
But wait, Brett. When you go to the grocery store, you have almost unlimited choice. You can buy 100 different types of cereals.
All made from the same stuff with different graphics on the outside.
All corn. It's basically just a bunch of boxes of corn.
That's capitalism.
It actually treats about 1% of the population like humans, and the rest of us like tools for those superhumans. You don't have any money, your bank account's low? I know where the money is. Jeff Bezos has it, the Waltons have it.
And they took it from us, right?
They took it from us.
We're just getting our money back.
Yeah, your work made that money. You deserve that money. That's your money. The 1% has never decided to do the right thing. That's why we have to take power and just spread it out among the 100% of people that exist. Polite
It's
about
just
it.
not the polite way to have sex.
That's just
I-
really one way to have sex that's polite, and it's to say, ma'am, or sir, or non-binary person, would you like to enjoy some making love with me? And then if they answer yes, then you mount that person and you move back and forth politely, and then you kind of finish it up and you say, that was great, and then you never mention it again. That's the right way to have sex, okay?
And folks, and that's why we don't do any sort of sex advice or sex stuff on this show, because there's none to be given.
I am wise!
I want you to write the polite sex book, like the proper polite method.
I just said it. How many times have you gone into work and then looked at your boss and said, what are they doing? You ever think about the levels at a job, Brett? Of course, the people on the very bottom. What do they do?
Usually clean.
Yeah, and then there is the people just above them. They're the ones that do the second hardest job at the place, right?
Deal with customers?
Yeah, that sort of thing. And then there's another level above that, and that's the manager that's in the place. Now let's think about what comes after that, right? You might have a guy named like Glenn that comes to your office every 6 months, and you have to lay out the red carpet for Glenn. Think about what the person above Glenn does. Jerry is the person above Glenn, right?
Okay.
His job is basically going to lunch, right?
Yeah, powerful meetings,
Yeah.
shaking hands real hard.
We're gonna go up to the CEO now. The people that sit around a table and who knows what they're doing? Nobody knows what they talk about.
Playing cards.
What connection does that person have to what you do and what the customer gets? It just seems like you could really chop like 5 or 6 levels off of any job and the company would still run perfectly.
Think about your job. Now imagine your manager isn't there. How much smoother would your day run?
I mean, how many of you work a job where you don't even know who the fucking CEO is of the company? That means they're absolutely useless. They're parasites.
They're on the top, getting most of the money, sending their kids to private school, driving the fanciest cars, and they can't make a sandwich. Every new level of hierarchy is more money coming out of your paycheck. Unions are fucking great because it's not HR.
You need solidarity with the other workers. We need to use that and exercise that. You and your other workers are the most important people at that company. I mean, hell, the way I think about it, maybe you don't get a union at all and you just take the whole company away from the bosses, and that's called a co-op.
For the almighty dollar, everyone's a slave. What's the point of doing shit if you ain't getting paid?
I mean, I tell you what, even the jobs that paid me nothing, like when I was first learning them, it was like, all right, I can do this. You just need somebody to get the plates and make them go from here to here. I can be the master of that. I was really into that, and I can do that. But after a while, it's like, you guys treat me like shit, and I get the plates from here to here every fucking time, and you talk down to me and shit. What's going on?
Jesus,
you're counting my lunches. Like, you're looking at what I'm eating. You're like figuring out when I'm going out to smoke. Like, all of a sudden, you're in my shit. But all you said you wanted from me was the plates to go from here to here, and I'm getting the plates from here to here.
God, that was the most accurate representation of how I feel when I get a job. At first, I'm helpless. I'm a little baby. I'm sucking off the tea to the manager to tell me what I need to do. You know, I don't want to, my wings aren't fully formed yet. And then once I learn what I'm doing, I'm like, y'all could treat me a lot better for this. I deserve a lot more for this.
Wow, this is some bullshit right here. Now that you kicked me out of the nest and I'm flying through the sky and trying to flap my wings here, I don't think you're giving me enough.
I don't like this
You
at
didn't
all.
set me up right.
Before we commence expelling this ghost from this location, before we save Jake from the lock, I will light the ceremonial herb that will give us the sight, that will give us the power we need to set Jake free. My Twitter's not working out here. Let's see if you can get a ghost. Go ahead and try. I summon the ghost into ghostly ghostness. Come the fuck out if you're a real ghost. Now. Demand it. This is how we fucking hunt ghosts. And as we've pointed out, and as we've said, there are no ghosts. So this is where the ghosts live, from what we know. And he's not home. Let me see, let me try this. Jake, you may overtake my body. I accept you into my heart and soul. Please, if you are here, take control of me, use me as a vessel. Gross. Nothing. Yeah, no ghosts. So I guess the lesson of Beaver Creek is there's no such thing as ghosts, there's no God, and the Bible is a lie. Off to Helltown to find out what the government's up to in the middle of fucking nowhere, Ohio. Hell yeah, bumping out here. Can I get some of this safety herb in my lungs, please? And thank you, are welcome here. Jake, you can't have any because they drug test. Yeah, if you go to work, man, you're gonna get drug tested. Jake, you son of a bitch! You get out here! Hey, Jake!
Hey, Street Fighters, welcome to the show. I hope you're having a good Wednesday night. We're a little bit early Street Fight tonight, 10 p.m. on a Wednesday. We usually start at 10 or 11. If you ever want to come and watch the show, we live stream on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Jump in the chat. I see Violent Orchid, Crow's Nose, Master Cat PDX, Alf Duella, Cyber Sludge. Thanks for showing up. Kudzu Garden, I see you. Thanks for being here, chatting along, watching the show. If you got time on Wednesday or Sunday nights, we're here taking calls Sunday nights, 9 to midnight Eastern Standard Time. We took Easter off and did not do a good job of announcing that, but that's why you didn't get a show. We also have bonus content available on patreon.com/StreetFightRadio. And you don't even have to access the bonus content. If you like Street Fight and what we do and you want to see us continue to spread this mess across the U.S., head to patreon.com/StreetFightRadio. Sign up for a monthly subscription. There you can get access to zines, videos, and special premium audio shows like Get Motivated, 100 Million Tons of Steel, Shocktober, and all the rest. I think that's everything. Thanks for being here. We are still the #1 anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. We've been working tirelessly on Means TV stuff as well. I had like 3 hours of Means meetings today, so
Got in trouble.
staying busy.
We got in trouble today.
We did get in trouble.
But we fixed it tonight. So
Here's what I'll say to speak to Brian's character. Last Wednesday we had a meeting and we were supposed to get some things done by the next Wednesday, which was today. And we got absolutely 0 things done. And Brian blamed it all on himself and said it was 100% his fault, which is a down-ass thing to do.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I just feel like I can't get in trouble, so maybe I'm trying to chase that in trouble feeling that I used to get when I was at a job. But
it felt like being in trouble. It was kind of like, oh no, I have to answer for myself because 1 week ago I promised that I would have this done.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, to go behind the scenes, like, it was partially my fault, for sure. I mean, because I could have texted you and said, hey, we need to do this. So,
okay,
you know.
Yeah.
I sort of felt like it was both of our fault, but why not take the hit? Just say it was me. It's easier to say it's me because if we're being completely honest here, I blame everything on myself.
Sure.
All the time. That's my whole life. I spend an hour in therapy every 3 weeks having a guy tell me, hey, that's not your fault. You shouldn't blame yourself for that. And it's like, well, I did. And then I felt bad about it for 3 days. So there you go.
Happy birthday to Lezabot in the chat.
Oh, happy birthday. I hope it's going well for you. It is a good day in Street Fight world. We're going to talk about some stuff and tonight that has been going on for 3 weeks and we've been quiet about it. That is the first time that we've been quiet about something for that amount of time, except for the KJB video when we were quiet about that for a few weeks.
True.
Remember that?
Yes.
Because we were like, well, we shouldn't talk about that. when Jake went to jail. But the end of a street fight storyline happened yesterday. It's a time of ends, and an end of an era happened. I am no longer a Kia Soul owner.
Hell yeah.
I bought a new car, a Honda CRV 2018.
All right.
Honda CRV, 40,000 miles on it, which doesn't seem too bad. I'll tell you what was funny about my trip to get a car. I went to a place called the Auto Mall, and there's a Nissan dealership, there's a Subaru dealer. It's just all the dealerships right there. You know what I mean?
Right at your fingertips. And
there was a Kia dealership. And every time I saw a person getting in a Kia, I was like, bro, bad idea. I wanted to go and tell them, like, don't buy this car, dude. Don't do it.
Yeah, I just had mine blow up on me. Or you could be like, hey, listen to my show, Street Fight Radio, to learn about Kias.
Or I could have just driven the Kia over there and say, you want to test drive this one? Because this is what it's like a few years in.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that thing was a piece of shit Reno.
Yeah.
You know? I went with the Honda. We wanted a Subaru, but not out of my price. That's just out of my price. I'm not a Subaru guy. I don't have Subaru guy money. I mean, those cars are all $30,000.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I did research this time. And
wow.
And I tried to figure out what I can afford. Instead of going in there and just taking what they'll give me.
Yeah.
I spent a couple days being like, what can we afford? Also, here's a little thing about me. If I go to buy a car, if I leave without a car, that feels like a failure. Tremendous failure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, I treat Gwen, my daughter, I don't know how to explain this, but like, she liked this CRV, right? Mm-hmm. And it was just like, if I don't get this, she's not going to love me anymore.
Okay, that's a stretch.
But that's how I felt. So then when it came down to approval and shit, I was like, oh, please just give it to us. I'll pay anything.
My little baby daughter wants this.
She's going to hate me when she gets older because, you know, I don't like my parents, and
yeah, for different reasons.
My wife doesn't really like her parents, and it's
right.
kind of like
for valid reasons. Gwen doesn't have any valid reasons.
I think she does. I think she has like if I'm gonna be totally honest about her reasons, the kind of not negligence is the wrong word, but maybe she might feel like, and I think about this all the time, we're not like really parents. You know what I mean?
That's only child life.
Yeah.
There's lots of people that are like, my parents were doing other things. I didn't have a sibling. I just spent a lot of my time doing my own shit.
But she doesn't do that. But COVID also.
Yeah.
So that might be the reason.
Sure. But even Erica and I with Charlotte, it's sorry, bud, I'm working. So go do Barbies. Figure it out. There's books. I'll help you get anything you want started, but I can't sit down and play with you all the time.
Yeah, I think also the fact that she's a teenager makes it easy, and it almost feels too easy. Does that make sense? Like, where it's like, this is too fucking easy, man. You mean tell me I can just talk to her and be like, hey, you know, this is this, and this, and it's done? And I feel like I learn from her, which is a corny thing to say, but I have learned a lot about women from my daughter. And the main thing is,
oh God,
this is a big thing I learned. This is feminism. What I'm gonna say.
Oh God, don't just skip ahead.
They don't buy. Women be shopping is the biggest lie in the world.
Okay. Woof.
It's a lie.
Okay.
They don't buy clothes. They hate clothes. I live with two women that love clothes, but hate clothes. Hate them. Won't buy them for anything. And then when they do buy them, they ain't gonna wear those fucking things. My daughter had a $150 pair of pants 2 years ago. Jeans. Never worn once. And then the next year was like, oh, they don't fit me anymore. And it's like, well, they used to fit you and you never wore them. Now I gotta go buy you fucking another $150 pair of jeans? What the fuck? You know? But like, that's one of the things I've learned is it's very hard for women to buy clothes. I think is the thing. It's a different thing. I guess maybe there are some men in the audience or male presenting people who get tailored clothes or like care about the fit of their clothes. But like, I've never seen somebody struggle with buying clothes like my daughter.
Well, I mean, the entire advertising campaign, the patriarchy, all of that relies on making women feel not good enough if they aren't pretty or attractive or if they don't present themselves in like the most fabulous way possible. And yeah, I mean, most of the women I date buy a bunch of clothes and don't feel confident enough to wear them because everything around them is saying the prettiest people are stick thin and white with blonde hair.
Shorts. The shorts thing has been made. My daughter needs shorts. And this has been a 4-month excursion to shorts. And it's like, I just bought 2 pairs of shorts yesterday. They just came in the mail today. Exactly like the shorts I'm wearing now. Like, I found my shorts.
Right, but also...
wear them.
Also, guys, you wear t-shirt and shorts. You don't have like camisoles. We don't have like skirts, jorts. Everything that for women is supposed to be form-fitting, and there's like not a standard thigh size with a waist size. None of that adds up. You know,
that's what you're right about that.
There's no standard.
That is the thing that like I've really learned is like, oh, I used to see these girls like at school and they would be wearing clothes and it's like, oh, those clothes look good. And it's like they probably did have closets full of shit that didn't fit right because the goddamn shit's supposed to be form-fitting. Everything's supposed to be why is everything gotta be form-fitting for them? Patriarchy.
Yes.
I guess. So.
Sexualization, male gaze.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
So yeah, man, my new car is great. I got the phone hooked up to the Bluetooth. My daughter actually made hers the priority, which really pisses me off.
Oh, that one bugs me. When the person that doesn't listen to music constantly and have a playlist ready to go as soon as they get in the car, you're not the priority.
Oh, well, she does.
Okay.
She actually has a driving with dad playlist and a driving with mom playlist.
Okay.
Which I think is the sweetest.
Yeah.
In the whole wide world,
Yeah, it's nice.
So... yeah, she has a playlist. It's just, I think it should be me. But then again, it's like, I'll fucking listen to Typo Negative when I'm driving, and it's like neither one of them want anything to do with that. You know, I don't do a good job in my life of catering my music to other people.
That's absolutely true.
I could DJ a party or something like that, but it's like I don't want to try to figure out music. And I've been listening to Cars a lot lately, so I think that's fair,
Sure, no one's going to complain about that.
Better not. Shit. That's like the most agreeable music in the world.
Yeah, when I get in the car, I scan the crowd that I'm with and then try to triangulate what everyone has in common.
True. You do a pretty good job. I mean, you don't play anything I like, but the truth is, like, nobody likes what I like or you like.
Yeah.
So we just got to live with that.
Yeah. My grindcore stuff, someone's told me that it felt like something bad's about to happen.
Right. So, we do have other stuff going on, right?
Yeah. I also bought a car.
Yep. Hey, congratulations, Brett. You bought a fucking car. A beautiful Prius automobile.
Yep. It was great.
You would buy a Prius. That's just such a street fight guy thing to do.
Is it?
Of course.
I feel like it's the most practical decision out there. It's so boring,
dude.
It's the best option, and it's not fun. It's not fast, but it's good on gas and it lasts a long time. And everybody that I know 2 couples that own 2 of them.
Yeah.
And I know like probably 6 or 7 Prius owners.
I really wanted to get one, obviously, because I'm cheap, right? And gas is expensive, so I wanted one. But my wife and my daughter They must have said the word trunk space 47 fucking times yesterday.
Yeah.
It was driving me up the wall. I'm like, what are you fucking hauling? What is with all the trunk space? And you know what they say? Oh, well, when we take a road trip, you have to bring 2 box fans. I'm like, well, that's a good point. But still, it didn't affect the other. The other car had piss poor trunk space. I think nobody would argue that the Kia Soul has not. I mean, because me and Brett would go on tour. We'd be gone for fucking a week or two, and nothing would. It would be impossible to load that car. I remember the days when Nick was going out with us, and it was just like he was crunched up in the back seat with Pelican cases and shit like that. So that's true.
Yeah.
But also, I think that there is an amount of trunk space that maybe, say, a sedan would have that is plenty of trunk space.
Yeah.
We're not hauling shit, okay? We take a road trip. We maybe take 3 road trips a year, you know?
Well, aren't you planning on taking more? I mean...
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, my wife is very different from other wives in that, or from me. And she's not impulsive like I am. I mean, you know her pretty well. She's just not an impulsive person. So yes, we are supposed to be taking more road trips and getting out and seeing the country. But I'll believe it when I see it because I'm not going to plan them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have any on the books except for Asheville.
Yeah.
But like, I am the type of dude that would be like, okay, so we finished the podcast on Wednesday. We can leave and come back on Monday or Sunday during the day. Like like I can take any time off I want, but she just doesn't do things like that. She just has to plan the whole thing or write a bunch of lists and shit like that. My wife starts packing a week before we leave. I just shove everything into a bag the day we're leaving. I figure you bring 4 pair of underwear, some socks.
So yeah, that's why you have to trust her then. She's thinking ahead of how much trunk space she needs. So you got to just let her make that decision.
Brett, when we travel, when we go on this trip to this wedding, shit's going to be rolling around in that trunk. It's so big. It's ridiculous, you know?
Yeah. My favorite part about buying the Prius is I had to go through the trials of 3 old wise men.
You were saying that you think they hated you.
Yeah, the dealership definitely hated me. They were playing country music. There was lots of American flag masks, and they sold big giant Buicks. And this was a trade-in for the Prius, and I showed up and looked so fucking out of place.
Yeah, you went to a buy here, pay here?
Hell no.
Oh, you went to a dealership?
I went to a real dealership.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I was gonna say don't do that, but I mean, I also was like, maybe he did.
No, one of the things that sucks is that I have no dirtbag credibility anymore. I have a high credit score, and I got a good rate, and had enough money to put money down. So it was actually, every time I've gone to go buy a car, I was just like, God, just don't take what they'll offer, please. You know, just walk out. Don't take what they're going to offer. They're going to try to fuck you over. The guy, when he texted me and said the car was ready, he was like, "We ran your numbers. You got a good rate." And I was like, "What's the rate?" And he's like, "I don't know. We'll take a look when you get here." And I'm like, "All right." He's about to tell me that 18% is like a fucking good, is the best he's seen.
It's good for you because your credit sucks shit.
Yeah. And it wasn't. But so as I was test driving the car, there was a noise. There was a squealing noise in the front right area. And so I had to call the people I know that work on cars to figure out what might be the problem. And I call my dad. I'm like, "Hey, Dad, this is doing this. What's the noise? Can you have to just do the noise, that thing." So then I'm like, "All right, thanks." And he goes, "Hey, Brett, what you gonna do about that battery?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "What you gonna do about the battery?" "Oh, the big battery?" And he was like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do when that blows?" And I was like, "Well, I know like 6 people that have Priuses. I know 2 of them that have replaced them. They have a name and number and a place to go to for a good deal. It's a $1,500 thing." And I'm like, "All right." So then I called Jason, the producer, and I was like, "Hey, Jason, this car's making this noise. I just wanted to get your idea. What do you think it's doing?" And he's like, "Well, I can't say anything over the phone. I got to be there. I got to look at it. Sounds like it could be this or that." And I'm like, "All right, I'll let you go." And he goes, "Hey, what about that battery?" I was like, "I know 6 people I know 6 people. They've got them replaced and telling them that. So then when I go to pick the car up, the guy is he sits me down and he's like, I looked at the brochure for the Prius, man. That's a pretty sweet ride, man. I haven't really seen one before. He's like, but what are you gonna do about that battery? What about that big battery? And so I had to do it. Every single guy, and they all think that it's a plug-in electric. Like one of them, my dad was like, how do you plug it in and all this shit? And they have no idea. They just think that like you're driving around with a $4,000 maintenance bill underneath you, basically.
So can I also just say, like, it's a $4,000 battery, right? Like that's what you're looking at.
No, my friend Justin got it for 15.
Okay, so it's a $1,500 battery. I think that's worth it. I mean, I would hate to pay for it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I hate paying for shit. I bought a whole bunch of shit on that Kia. But I think that's fine, a $1,500 car repair, and I just think they hate that car.
They hate them. They hate them. They were never. I mean, someone asked in the chat, said, has someone rolled coal on me yet? And I just realized that is something that could happen in Ohio.
It is, I'll say this. It's a shitty looking car. I'm going to tell you the truth. And I don't mean to like be rude or anything like that. Just an awful looking car. But I think it seems fine.
Very practical, very affordable. The payments are not a lot.
I like an Escort. Back in the day, people would drive Ford Escorts. Like my dad had one. And it was always like you would just kind of like snicker at the Ford Escort. But this one saves money on gas. So people are like, no, I mean, that's a highly reputable choice. And I agree.
It's also shaped aerodynamically, so it looks just like a big fucking egg.
Just awful looking car. But
I know, I couldn't believe I was
good
doing
purchase.
I couldn't believe I was doing. I couldn't believe I bought a practical car with a good interest rate. And now the Miata fund starts. This is when I'm going to start socking away $200 a month until I can go pay cash for a Miata.
That is true. He is trying to get a Miata, so I can also say you have 2 awful looking cars.
Yep. 2 disgusting cars.
I will actually be able to make fun of your Kia. Or not Kia, your Miata, because my dad drives a Miata. Which has soured me on Miatas.
Yeah, it's midlife crisis time
also,
for me.
Also, looks like a goofball fucking car. Like you're sticking out of it. It's just something. So, you got a new car. Hey, congratulations on getting a new car. I think that's great.
Yes.
You know? Finally.
Yeah. Now, the reason that I had to get the car is something that's hard to talk about, but because it is a part of my job. I'm going through some changes. I mentioned personal stuff a couple weeks ago.
First of all, I'm not making him do this, by the way. Like, this isn't like me saying you have to do this. I am supporting your decision. I waited until you were ready to do it.
Yes. So basically what's going on right now is me and Erica are getting separated and definitely getting divorced. So I'm going to be moving into my own apartment, and I'm going to have my own Toyota Prius.
A hot plate.
A
fucking neon sign just out the window.
Milk crates to sit on.
Milk crates. Lawn furniture.
Movie posters hung up with Scotch tape.
And then one, like, immaculately decorated room for your daughter.
Yes. And then one, beautiful, amazing Pier 1 room. Yeah,
it's gonna sleep on an REI cot in like a room with nothing on the walls and all of his clothes folded neatly against the wall, and it's just gonna be this one room that's like the room of a princess. Like, aren't we having fun over here?
Yeah. So, for anybody that follows along, please don't assume any jokes I made about my relationship over the last year were true at all. I'm a great storyteller. I'm not a great truth teller. So there's also it's all amicable. There's no like beating, cheating, or addiction or anything like that going on. It's an amicable thing, and we're doing like the Coldplay thing, the Gwyneth Paltrow and Coldplay, the conscious uncoupling, that thing.
That's the way Brett described it when it was explained too. We're doing an uncoupling, okay? We're going to begin to decouple.
Yeah.
And it's just not. I mean, it's funny. Okay, it's not funny that you're getting divorced.
It's funny.
Obviously.
There's a lot of funny.
There
moments.
is a lot of funny stuff going on. I will say that I've had a few laughs along the way, but I also will say that like it was like we have a tight knit group that we run with. It's all couples too, and there's only one other single person, and she's crazy. And but now everybody had to figure out how it affected them, which I thought was the wildest fucking part of the whole thing, including me. I mean, I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
No, I felt that way. I mean, before I sent the text message to everybody, I just knew people. I knew it would be upsetting to hear. You know, I would hate to hear if it happened to any of y'all. And then it's also like, well, shit, what are birthdays going to be like? Or, you know, how different is this going to be? How cordial can you actually be?
And I got like nervous actually about my wife leaving me at that point. Immediately, I went and hugged her and said, "Hey, I love you so much. You're the greatest of all time." You know what I mean? Which, by the way, it's funny. About 4 days into this, Brett had been talking to Tom Sexton, and Brett sent me and my wife a text that said, "Me and Tom agree that Katie is a G." And I'm like, great. So now if something happens, I'm 100% the bad guy.
Yeah, you fucked it up.
I mean, that's true, though. Actually, if something happened between me and my wife, there's no way for me to be the good guy in that situation. But, you know.
I don't. I've been trying. Like, it's ups and downs, and it's been a few days now. But at the beginning, there was sad days. I mostly feel good about it, and I think Erica does too. And I think we're both ready to be our best selves, and I think it'll help Charlotte and make our relationships better. But there was moments though, like at the beginning, like 2 days in, like waking up, like realizing it's actually going to happen. And I would wake up and I just had this weird feeling, and I was home with Charlotte all day alone. And I'm like, I want to cry so bad right now. And I held it in and I waited all day, and I was just like, I felt it. And I'm like, just get it out. Don't avoid it. Don't shove your feelings down. Feel bad when you feel bad, and honor that. Yeah. So then Erica gets home from work, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go take a nap upstairs. And I go upstairs, I turn off all the lights, and I start playing like the saddest country music ever. Tonight the Bottle Let Me Down. If Drinking Don't Kill Me, Her Memory Will.
Oh, that's a fucking good song, though. That song bangs.
But the funny thing is so then as soon as that's the one that got me, If Drinking Don't Kill Me, Her Memory Will, I could feel it. The welling started, and I started crying, and then it was kind of done. And then I started laughing out loud because I felt so pathetic sitting in that room listening to that sad song and like blubbering like a baby. And I really thought, I was like, I'm going to cry for 90 minutes straight. I'm going to cry for 10 years of relationship, you know? And I mustered up like 3 minutes and was like, all right, I just had to get that out. There was like 2 ounces of tears in there that needed to fucking get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of, we've been joking about it for the past couple weeks, but at first I was like genuinely super worried about you. I talked about this before the show, but I'll bring it up now, how awful of a friend I am. Is that I had therapy today, and I was like, well, I could tell that he was pissed off about it. I was like, things weren't going great. But I just figured it was me, so I just kind of was like, well, let's not have that conversation. You know what I mean? I didn't want to have the conversation where it would be like, yes, you are pissing me off, or you're making me this. And I was just like, but it's also as somebody that's very close to you, it is something that when I think about it now, and we have conversations now, it was very apparent while it was going bad. Like that, it's and
I've heard a bad marriage is like bad breath. Everybody knows it except for you.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't know though.
Sure.
I really, what's funny about it or weird about it is that like the things that you have brought up that weighed on you were things that I think everybody thought were positives to you. And like that is the part that you have to square like with it, like sort of the like you know, I just things like, oh, she's not online, she doesn't know what you do, she doesn't care that much about kind of your job sort of thing, right? Like it was always like, well, I mean, maybe he likes that because he has to spend all of his time doing this thing, so maybe that's cool. But then when you get out on the other side of this, you're like, I would not like it if my wife didn't care about what I do. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, my wife cares immensely about what I do, asks about it to a point where it annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, God. Sometimes, Brett, she'll be like... I'll be like, I gotta run up and, you know, do a podcast at 9. Oh, with who? Oh, you don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, what do you know?
Yeah, I mean, relationship changed over time. And when we started, I wasn't doing the show or making any money from it. So, we were just starting it. But the funniest part to me was we got in an argument that kind of set the fuse on a Thursday night. And then on Friday, I called my parents and was like, hey, will you take Charlotte this weekend? And Erica was like, we're going to have a longer talk when Charlotte is gone. And so Saturday we go jump in the van and we're going to go drop off Charlotte, me and Erica and Charlotte. And her phone connects to the van. She's a priority there. And as we're driving there, I notice all the songs are like angry fucking riot girl punk and shit that I've never heard. And it's just like, chop it off, chop it off, chop it off. I don't need a man to tell me what the fuck to do. Lunatics. There's a band called Mommy Longlegs that has this good song. But basically, as we're driving, I was just like, gulp. I guess I think I know where this conversation is going. Like, I've kind of figured it out.
But was it, I mean, just out of curiosity, was it a conversation that you just maybe think you would have never had it not been her saying, like, we need to have a conversation? I mean, like, how long do you think you probably would have just sort of dealt with the discomfort?
I can't say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I felt things were changing. I think that I knew, you know, once you have that thought of like, maybe I should figure out what my life would be in a different way. I mean, that's when it cuts off. And then like the other person knows immediately, like they just know that you disconnected completely. And I think that, you know, you just have to go through it at that point. You know, if you're thinking we shouldn't be together, your foot's in the grave.
Right. And now here's another thing that we got to talk about. This is very difficult because, like, you will start dating, and then at some point, you're going to meet somebody that you like, probably. I mean...
We don't know.
At some point, you're going to meet somebody that you like, and you're going to have to introduce them to me. That sounds like hell, actually.
It's not the worst. I mean, there's just a vetting process.
Oh, hey, okay. I like you a lot, but there's something you might not know about me. I have to take you to this guy who is always going to be around, and it is an enormous pain in the ass. But, you know, the thing about me, though, that for real, though, is that, like, I am not mean, and I, like, will do anything not to be confrontational. And even if I didn't like this person, I would always just pretend to like them, and that would be fine.
Yeah, I mean, but I wouldn't want to deal with somebody that didn't get along with you or my friends. I mean, that's the big thing. You don't want to have like a black sheep fucking
like a girlfriend,
like a girlfriend that nobody likes. Or,
I did that.
I heard somebody complaining about like, yeah, so and so got married for the second time, which really sucks because their first husband was like my favorite guy in the fucking world, and this new guy sucks ass. You know.
Dude, I know somebody. I mean, okay, so the guy, the first husband was terrible, right? Like in hindsight, he's terrible. But like my wife had that situation in her family where there was a guy that was around for 10 years or whatever, however long they were married, and then they decided to get divorced, and it was just like, then she married a guy that like drives a Miata.
What's wrong with that?
Well, I mean, I'm serious. She married a Miata guy that wears like affliction shirts and shit like that. And just like, I mean, the truth is he wants to be my friend really bad. So I shouldn't say he's a bad guy. I would just say that he sucks. You know what I mean? Like, he really, like, if I don't show up, my Katie will be like, he was asking where you were, what you were doing. He's a Trump guy. I don't even like know why he would want to be my friend, but I guess he just has like this vibe with me. He thinks me and him could really vibe together if we didn't talk about politics. I'm like, well, you know, that's a little different.
Guzzbags.
Yeah. So
the other funny moment was so Saturday that happened. We decided it's gonna happen, and then on Monday we sat down and had a talk that was like way more emotional and more just revealing all this stuff. And I said to you, I think I said to you on Sunday, I was like, I don't know, man. It seems like it could go either way. I don't know where things are at. And then I signed into the Amazon account and I saw that you ordered a vibrator. And I was like, okay, well, it's over. It's fucking over. I'm done. There's nail in the coffin for me. Can't compete with that.
No, you can't. You definitely can't compete with that. I'm going to check the Amazon account at my house now. See, you got me thinking. Not kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but then from there, I mean, it's mostly just been trying to find a place and trying to find a car, which I've done, and that's all I need. I think I'm good.
Yeah. I don't know what furniture's going to be and all that stuff, but I'm just going to like pretend to just ignore it, you know, because I'm probably not going to go over the apartment very much.
Yeah.
You told me that it's going to be like
a secret
apartment that people don't go to. I mean, if anybody goes there, it might be me. But like even then, I can't imagine when.
It's not the spot. It's not the spot for anything.
Well, I mean, and that's the other thing. The basement shows are going to turn into. We're going to be here until the TV show's done filming, which should be mid-June.
Yeah.
And then we are moving and going to we're going to go to a place. Another funny thing about when you hear your friend gets divorced, you're like, what are they going to do with the house? I don't even like understand what's going on with the house, you know, especially since the studio's in the house, and it could be in my house, but it would be a tight squeeze.
Yeah, I found some promising places. Once I'm on my own and I have like a week to do my own thing, I will jump on my bike and go ride around and look at a bunch of commercial real estate, and we'll find something that's in our price range that's, you know, at least as big as this room, and we can move there.
It'll be cool too, because post-COVID, and if it's nice. If it's the size of this room, but if it's bigger than this room post-COVID, we might be able to have like audiences and put on little parties and shit like that. So like that kind of stuff will be really neat. I actually, it's funny, when we decided we were going to get our space, I looked at my wife. Mind you, I don't drink. I looked at my wife. I'm like, we gotta get a kegerator. I just feel like that's what you gotta do.
Trying to do a Silicon Valley office.
Well, I just feel like when two dudes get an office, they're like, bro,
brewskis,
kegerator, and I'll never touch it. Can we get a kegerator and put root beer in it?
Okay.
We get kegged root beer.
A keg of root beer,
and then like
frost top. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, there's a few of them. Ramblin' House.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Make some, and they make kegs. So we could get a keg. We could get two kegerators, because I think they're only like $50 a piece. We get two kegerators. We'll get a real keg with whatever weird craft beer Brett wants in it, and we'll get another one with root beer, and then like we'll be able to be like, hey, you know, I'm gonna hit some root beer up.
Yeah.
You know.
Anybody want a frosty mug of root beer?
Yeah, and we'll get a Mortal Kombat 3. Cabinet I would like to get, but no, seriously, it's just gonna be like The Office, and we'll be streaming there. That is when you're gonna get your streams.
Yeah,
you're gonna get a lot more streams.
I failed the drunk driving test with Tanya. The computer I have is like 7 years old, so we are going to use our PPP loan money to outfit the studio with computers and hardware that stays where it's at and allows us to go in and just flick a switch and start streaming.
And when it's not tied to where Brett lives, that means that if I can flick a switch, I can go. But I mean, he's a single guy now, so he'll probably be in the office all the time. I imagine that's going to actually be the spot.
Yeah,
my apartment's not the spot, but the studio may be the spot. It'd be like an after hours club sort of thing. Now I'm just
an after hours club.
I mean, it could turn into one, right?
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, we could have not an official one with a liquor license. Actually, you can't have a liquor license for an after hours club, but it is like a thing where if you go out to the bar at night and we need somewhere to go afterwards.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, then that rules out like most of your office buildings. But if we can find a warehouse type deal somewhere,
hell yeah, baby,
tiny warehouse.
Okay, so now I wanted to get into. So that's what's going on in the street fight world.
Yep.
I'm sure it will develop and evolve over time. Seriously, Brett will tell you, I have actually not been awful through this. So just a round of applause for me also. You know?
When you went over on that Tuesday night, you put your phone away and you sat on your elbows and kicked your heels back and forth and laid on your belly and listened to me talk. Well, and you asked qualifying questions. You asked for more details. You didn't think about what you were going to say next or tell me a story that's kind of like what I'm going through.
Can I tell you, I've been working on that for about 12 years. That was my moment of like, this is everything I want to be.
right.
You know what I mean?
Here's
like,
your
this
test.
is the good guy. This is like where I'm nice. I'm a good guy. And I'm going to be a good guy right now. But I do have to clarify something. I put my phone away a lot at home at night.
Okay.
but like, you know.
I just shut it off. I just power it down.
I would never turn my phone off. That, to me, is crazy behavior. But, no, I mean, you know, when I go up to bed and shit, I plug it in and it's just away. And it's like, you have to power yours down because it's like an iPhone 3.
Yeah, I haven't
bought a new phone now that you're, you know. How you going to do, like, Tinder and all that on that phone? It probably doesn't even work.
Show up with a cracked phone?
Oh, buddy. Yeah, they're going to look at your phone. That's something. Brett did try Tinder.
I didn't. Well, I also told Brian. I also told Tom. I was like, I'm kind of regretting buying all these fake designer clothes because now it gives it presents the idea that I have enough money to buy like a $1,400 Gucci sweatshirt.
Yup.
It's like now I don't want to be seen in this. Like
you should have went with the $100 shit like I do. The $100 hype beast stuff.
Right.
Because you can maintain that lifestyle.
Right.
You know, and people are still like, wow, this guy's a hype beast. You know.
Sure.
You know. But yeah. I did
Tinder, I did take
like Tinder. Brett is not a Tinder guy.
I'm not.
No. I didn't think you would be.
I'm not also trying to move on that quickly. I think that it's just one of those things in my. I have so much. I feel like I'm just stuck in place until I have my own apartment. And I went down there to do preliminary research.
You can't say, and married people out there. I've been married for 20 years. I've been married for 10 or 12, but you know, I've been with my wife for 20 years. And I can't say that I've never been curious of even what Tinder looks like.
I know.
You know what
That's
I mean?
The thing
like
too.
I used to think about it like I don't even know what it looks like or what you do on there or any of that stuff. So, I mean, if my wife was like, we're getting divorced, I would be on Tinder the next day. That doesn't mean that I'm moving on and I'm ready to have a bunch of sex. You know what I mean? That means that like I really need to. I gotta find out what the hubbub is.
When it popped off, when all that stuff popped off, and people were talking about it, and there was jokes, and there's screenshots, and there's all these things, I feel so out of the loop. And I also was like, you know, I'm in a committed relationship. I do not even want to have to explain how that was.
That's the other
like,
thing.
hey, I was looking at the downloaded apps on the App Store, and Tinder was on there. You know, and I was like, nope, I don't want to know. I don't want to mess with it. But I mean, I do spend a majority of my time reading social media comments. Like, I am most fascinated by humans. Like, that's really what interests me, is seeing how people act and put themselves online. And then I was like, well, now I can do it. Now I can see what the fuck this thing is like.
It's interesting. It is like, to me, it's like, I don't know what it looks like. I'll probably look at yours someday and just be like, what is it? Okay, that's what it is, you know? Because I didn't, first of all, when I say I didn't date in the age of apps, I should really just clarify with I didn't date. You know what I mean? I've been with my wife since I'm 19. I don't even know what it's like. But I will say this, it's not something I miss. It does sound like hell to me. So,
oh yeah. It was all the most, like, it's not for me. There's not anybody on there for me. It was the most basic ass white ladies I've ever seen. There's nothing we're going to have they're not going to be happy to see me.
No, they don't want to put up with your politics.
Yeah, they're not going to want to hear what, about some of the extraction processes for their favorite items.
Yes, or like, yeah, also you're just like, you have to explain the drug stuff, which seems like a huge hassle for a basic white lady.
Yeah. Yep.
Where it's like, oh no, cocaine is like, I kind of like it, to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't mind it. I don't mind cocaine at all.
Or like, I microdose acid.
Yeah.
If I feel bad when I wake up, I'll just microdose acid.
True. So, speaking of drugs, I was on Nextdoor this week. I went back to Nextdoor because I saw something that you check your email sometimes and you'll get a Nextdoor. Do you get the Nextdoor emails?
I live for them.
I do too.
It's the reason I have 30 tabs open all the time, is when I go through my emails, I go through the emails, I look for all my transaction emails, and I enter that into the money and organize all of that. And then I open up Columbus Navigator, which is a local news site that posts, will send you an email with 7 of the top stories of the day. And then Nextdoor, every Nextdoor I get, I right click and I click open a new tab. And I go through the emails, and then when I'm done with it all, I'm like, all right, what's going on in Nextdoor?
I cannot tell you how much I love Nextdoor.
It's good.
But so I found out that there is an unruly Airbnb in the Harrison West neighborhood.
Really?
There's an unruly Airbnb. People are talking outside.
At 3 a.m?
That's what they say. I mean, to tell you the truth, me and Brett have been the unruly Airbnb. So, that's why people don't want to move in next to Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah, there's been lots of stories. Very weird interactions and communities that are torn apart because they let 12 people stay at an Airbnb and they're screaming and yelling in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that is the point where it's like, maybe Airbnb is not good.
Yeah, we were going to light off firecrackers in Nashville. We were staying at an Airbnb and it was like, oh, we actually probably shouldn't do that. That was another moment of clarity, I think, for us.
Yes. We've had a few moments where we've said or done something smart, and that was one. Remember, we did stay at the Airbnb on Hellfire, and the lady accused us of making a trash can full of roaches, like joint roaches, and we were like, okay, that's impossible though.
Oh yeah, she sent a picture of a piece of weed on the ground.
Yes.
And it was like, nobody in this house would leave any fucking weed behind. Nobody here is throwing buds off the counter,
And who cares? It's weed, But so anyway, I go on Nextdoor, and let me see. I should have screen capped the thing because the unruly Airbnb wasn't what caught my eye, right? It was a. Let me get it here. I'm gonna bring it up here because it was a post about. I do have it. A screen cap of it. I'm gonna read you this post, and it's gonna kind of lead into what I think is interesting about this. God damn it, Brian! You take too many pictures.
One really gross fucking Nextdoor thing I saw. There was somebody posting as Kyle Rittenhouse.
Jesus.
Yeah, talking about crime rates and shit and trying to get people all riled up about like how the neighborhood has changed. Because like across the freeway, there's been an uptick in police reports. Like not even like
There's been a lot of shootings in the city lately.
Yeah.
But not around here.
Well, but I get the Nextdoor for over there. Like they do it for like a mile or two away.
Okay. Yeah, there's been an uptick in shootings. That is something that's actually happening. But here's the thing I saw, Brett. I think this says everything about Nextdoor too. Scary activity. Yesterday, I discovered an unsettling mess in my side yard. I found 4 lighters.
Oh, God.
Cigarette packages. Drug paraphernalia. Cigarette butts. Parentheses dozens.
Ooh.
I mean, if you're hanging outside with your drug paraphernalia and your lighters, I mean, what do you think? You just smoke one cigarette?
Yeah.
This was people chopping it up and having like a night together. We're fucking talking here, man. I'm smoking cigarettes, Probably really having like an important conversation.
Yeah, probably
one of
memorable.
them probably getting divorced. And then the other one's talking to him like, yeah, man, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of shit that happens, And broken open washer pods and a silicone brush on a cord. Okay? Tide Pods, Brett.
Broken open, though. They're drinking them?
They were broken open. And then I don't know what a silicone brush on a cord is. What's a silicone brush?
That's like a toilet brush, but it has like one of those plastic heads. Like one of the heads that are made out of those flimsy muffin tins.
And it's on a cord. Yeah, I don't know what you would use that for. That is kind of freaky.
I have a scrub brush that has a silicone head on it.
Okay.
For my toilet.
Yeah, but I mean, okay. So anyway, and it was all right outside of my family room where we spend a lot of time.
What?
We haven't heard anything. Obviously, someone spent a lot of time there. There's a 6-foot fence and about 4 feet from the house to the fence. It's pretty well hidden from the street and dark. Guessing it's time for another camera since the ones in the front and back haven't caught anything. Does anybody know what the detergent pods are about? I don't.
Cause for alarm.
Here's what I think. I'm gonna explain what happened first. Some motherfucker pulled up in front of this person's house and dumped everything out of their car. They cleaned their car.
A kid.
Yeah, probably a teen, maybe even an older adult, anybody. They cleaned their fucking car out. You know what, ma'am? You live in the city, okay? And in the city, you don't get to fucking make all kinds of rules for everybody.
Yeah.
And a motherfucker will just clean his car out in front of your house. That's just the way things are. Or there is the chance that there is a bus that leaves the jail every day, and it takes people to the short north.
Okay.
Just past it. And maybe they were like, they dumped their cigarette butt, but you don't have cigarette butts at jail. So it's just somebody cleaning out their fucking car. It's not nefarious, is what I'm trying to get at. This doesn't sound scary to me.
I swear to God, someone committed a crime, but our cameras didn't catch anything.
Yeah. It's a scary situation happening out there. I'm terrified. And none of that scares me, Brett. None of it. The drug paraphernalia, what do you think? It's like papers, maybe? Like a pack of joint papers or blunt?
Yeah, someone in the chat, Bluish Zulu, said the silicone brush could be for cleaning a piece or something of some sort. Maybe.
Boom. There it is. Right
But
there.
it doesn't say like chore boy or anything. It doesn't say like straight glass pipes or anything like that. The Tide Pods to me make me just think kid immediately. I guess maybe you took them to the laundromat and they blew up in your car and you just you were parked there and you were like, I want all this out of here, and you just fucking grabbed it and threw it all on the ground.
Bingo. Because when I had to go to the laundromat, this was pre-COVID. I got a washer right before COVID, very luckily. And I used to have to go to the laundromat. I had Tide Pods in my car all the fucking time because the laundromat it sucks to bring non-Tide pods. You know, you want to bring the pods.
Okay.
You can get the cheaper pods, but now my family makes me get Tide pods because apparently they smell better. So somebody answered this question.
Okay. Yeah, I love this. This is good. There's lots of also on Nextdoor like gang signs, and then people are like, oh yeah, I've heard about them. That's the Killer Crew. They're a section of the Bloods. They're responsible for all the shootings on Sullivan Avenue. There's all kinds of 60-year-old men that think they can decrypt gang signs.
That's cop. Maybe ex-cops or guys that know cops.
Yeah.
You know? Because that's something about the Shield. Is like there's 80 gangs and like one of the things that makes Vic Mackey is like he knows all the gangs.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I think there's probably a lot of cops that are like, no, man, that's the 6th Street Posse. I don't know if you've heard about them. About 40 of them. You know, they're basically like a well-trained paramilitary force.
Tight-knit crew. There's a capo. Nobody is ever in the same room as the leader.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these gangs are not.
No, it's fucking teenagers.
It is teenagers that are mostly just hanging out smoking weed together.
Yeah. And they have a can of paint.
You get in an argument, you shoot at each other, or somebody gets killed, but mostly it's just people hanging out.
Yeah.
You know?
The gangs aren't going door to door and asking for protection money.
It's the Killer Crew.
Yeah. It's KC. That's Killer Crew.
It's Killer. It's always a bad name.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the worst.
Know?
The Beheaders. That's the West Side Beheaders.
Yeah. Or they won't get. They don't want to get creative, so it's just always MS-13.
Always. Yeah. That's a popular one too.
Man, because there is a apartment complex. They tore it down a few years ago because there was a tragic fire there where it burnt. But they would just say that place is all MS-13 all the time.
Yeah,
Columbus has this like thing where, and maybe it's like this in every city, but there's always like an apartment complex that has like a ton of mystique to it. When I was growing up, there was an apartment complex called Greenbrier Estates, I think is what it was called. But if you ask anybody that's 10 years older than me about Greenbrier, they'll call it Uzi Alley. They always called it Uzi Alley. And the Lincoln Park was the other one. And they just would say, that's MS-13. That's like, basically, that's a no-go zone. That's where MS-13 is. And what it does is it makes it so the cops can go harass regular-ass people all the time.
Poor people.
That's why they do it.
Yeah.
But, like, people really do think they know. The thing is, and this is something that's always made me crazy, is people think they know the city that never go to the city.
Yeah.
You know, that's the real thing. Like I have a friend whose dad I have a friend who lives downtown, lives in a very nice house. And their parents are always worried about them. And, like, will fucking, when the Black Lives Matter stuff was going on, they were like, hey, is everything okay at your house? That is 3 to 4 miles away from any of that stuff. But they think the whole urban center is
burning
all the time. So they love to bring up the Killer Crew or the Short North Posse or the I can't come up with any good names, but they always have like such. Remember that time we looked up old gang names and there was one called the Errol Flynns?
Yeah.
That's the only one I want to bring up.
That was
Errol Flynns.
The Detroit. And there was more than one. There was like the Errol Flynns and like the Mighty Flynns or something.
Yeah, and
like,
the Errol Flynns too.
Yeah.
Just, there was a lot of people that were like way into Errol Flynn in Detroit.
He was the coldest.
So here's our answer that I decided is the right answer.
Gotcha.
Apparently, Tide Pods can be traded for drugs and or people ingesting them for a, quote, Tide Pod challenge.
Yeah. I mean, you can't buy Tide Pods for drugs. You have to go through an exchange where you would go to the flea market and take a bunch of stolen Tide Pods and give them to the detergent person, and then they would give you cash, and then you would go to the drug person. I don't think you can give them straight up Tide Pods.
Yes. So I was like, where did this person hear that Tide Pods are like worth trading for drugs. Like you can't go to the drug dealer and hand him 5 Tide Pods and get something for that.
But if you go, I've been to more than one flea market now, and there is just a booth with somebody standing there, and they have Tide Pods stacked 8 feet high, or Tide detergent stacked 8 feet high behind them.
Okay.
And it's like fell off a truck type stuff.
But like they boosted the Tide.
Yeah, 50% on the dollar, 50% of whatever the retail is on it. Like it's yours out the door.
Yeah, those Tide Pods are expensive as
fuck. Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was a big Purex guy for years. It was just like I use Purex because Purex is $4 when the Tide is $11. So why would I use Tide? I don't even know like what in your. And then I had a kid and a wife that decided you have to use Tide. So what I did was I traced this. I Googled this. And I ended up on a website, drugfree.org, Partnership to End Addiction.
Whoa.
And Tide detergent stolen, traded for drugs, law enforcement and retail officials say. This is a story from 2013. Law enforcement and retail officials say Tide detergent is being stolen, and traded for drugs. Liquid Tide or Tide Pods are also being sold, as you said, at open swap meets and secret meetings, according to the press enterprise. Secret meetings. It's tight. And you know,
but the Tide Pod Mafia, they're moving Chicago's blowing up. People are getting more washer dryer units in their houses. We got to get more shipments to Chicago.
Detergent is fairly easy to steal. False. And difficult to trace, law enforcement officials say. How is detergent easy to steal? It seems like the hardest thing to steal.
And also, yeah, like thinking about the exchange rate too. It's $20 for like the huge bottle. Let's say that your dealer's going to sell it for 10 and they're going to give you 5 for it. Like how many, if I'm trying to have a good time, how many of those do I got to fucking steal? And if you fill a whole cart with Tide, it's going to weigh 400, 500 pounds. You can't just like dump that. You can't just unload those into a truck.
No, they would come and arrest you immediately. Like, I am trying to think of things in a grocery store harder to steal than laundry detergent. All I can think is bagged dog food, like the big bags of dog food. That's probably pretty hard. You know?
Oh yeah.
Bread, I think, is kind of hard to steal. I mean, I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence.
Thank you.
You know?
I'm going hungry.
But I just think bread smushes. It's like you can't get the bread out in like a quality way.
It's price. I mean, yeah, bread's only a few dollars.
Yeah,
you got to
you
use those
just
$20 things.
But I would love to hear maybe Sunday night even, and then maybe me and you can game this out now. How do you steal laundry detergent? How would you, Brett Payne, if you were like, I'm desperate, I need to get drugs, and I'm gonna do it by stealing Tide, do you think you could figure out a way to steal? Because here's what I think. I'll give you mine. Okay. I can give you mine. You got to know somebody in the store.
I was thinking inside job. That's like, I would work at Walmart and I would just set them outside by the trash and then go have my friend go pick them up or something.
Exactly. You would have to be able to get them out the back door.
Yeah.
There's no walking out the front door.
Right. Before they enter the warehouse, you need to just side load some of them.
There is here's another concept I've thought about. This is another interesting concept. I'd like to get your thoughts on it. Maybe I go into the store, I fill a cart with detergent, and then I just don't scan all of them. I scan a few of them. And then I get a lot of them for free. But the issue with this is if you're using the Tide to get drugs, then you probably don't have the money to pay for the few that you would have. Like, I'll say, let's just for an example, we're going to put 12 bottles of Tide in the cart and then scan 6.
Yeah.
You know, but you're $120 in at that point. You probably should just go buy the drugs with $120.
Right. Jacob Baldwin has a good one in here. Steal a credit card number. Like if you had a fake credit card that you could run or a checkbook that you could fake, and you could just legit go say, hey, I'm going to go donate these all to charity. I'm buying 100 Tide packages, for $2,000. And then you go sell that for $1,000.
Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. So if we're stealing credit card numbers, that is probably how...
That's how you can get them out the door, yeah.
It's just interesting that they say detergent is fairly easy to steal, and it seems... The other side of that, though, and Jacob, you're right, and that's probably the way it works. But then we got to take the other side of this. Stealing detergent is relatively low in risk compared with other types of crime they had, which then suggests to you that they don't want to fuck with credit fraud. You know what I mean? So they don't want to use a fake credit card because then that ratchets up the crime.
Yeah.
So the cops seem to think that it is very easy to steal laundry detergent.
Well, I'm divorced now, so I'm going to go ahead and just go undercover and get a job in the Tide Mafia and see if I can figure out how it all works. I'll come back and report to all of you.
I would say that it's probably the credit thing because, to be honest, criminals don't think about the result. They don't think about it.
It's there's brute force, and then there's gaming the system. I think it's someone's unloading one box into the back of their truck when they're unloading the truck from Walmart, and then I think people are going out the front door.
So it says a 150-ounce bottle of Tide that sells for $18 can be exchanged for $5 in cash.
I knew the system.
Or $10 worth of marijuana or crack cocaine, according to New York Magazine.
Yeah, I always like to barter and I don't like to turn it into fiat because the value of my stuff is not what I paid for it.
Here we go. Riverside, California Police Lieutenant Dan Hoxmeyer said that thefts often involve three people. Someone to identify the product, a second person to make sure no one's watching. This is bullshit. No one's watching and loads the cart, and a third who pushes the cart out of the store. That is cops lying.
They would have your license plate. You could get 3 in the back before you had to run away.
Yeah.
We used to steal watermelons. We'd pull up and go and unload like 5 or 6 watermelons.
What are you stealing watermelons for?
So that you could like throw them off bridges and shit, or like shoot them with guns.
I thought you were gonna say like you were stealing watermelons because you and your friends just like loved watermelons.
No, because we'd be driving down the street and someone would just take a watermelon and throw it on the ground, and we would laugh.
A bunch of Gallaghers. You know who actually does that is the Gallagher gang.
Yeah, the Gallagher gang.
Gang on the west side of Columbus. It's the Gallagher gang.
They carry mallets.
Yep, they carry mallets in their belt loop. They tie a mallet to their belt loop and they throw watermelons for fun, just for fun.
Yeah.
They'll fucking steal watermelons and throw them just for fun.
Right through your windshield. Don't park on the street. They'll throw a watermelon right through your windshield.
And they'll kill you, which is a huge deal. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I would say the best thing to steal that I've also seen at the flea market is makeup. I mean, there's lots of makeup that's $20 that is like this big.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
That's easy. You can you could get $1,000 of makeup from a CVS in one big ass bag.
Yeah. It says here from the New York article, Thompson this is a loss prevention guy, said he reviewed weeks worth of Safeway security footage. He found that more than 24 thieves working in crews were regularly raiding the store's household products aisle, sometime returning more than once in the same day, and avoiding detection by timing their heists to follow clerk shift changes. Ooh, damn, dog. That's like Ocean's 11.
So
dude.
Good.
That's Ocean's 11 shit, Brett.
Yeah, you went in, you hang out, you figure out, you talk to somebody. What time do you get off? That's also the only conversation that most cashiers at Walmart are willing to have with you. If you say, what time are you getting off tonight? They're always like, I got 3 more hours to go. Yeah. So then you can get that information very easily.
I mean, if you've ever worked at a grocery store, you know that like one crew of people gets off at 4 usually, or 3. And the next crew of people come in. because there is the after work, there's the morning rush, and then there's the after work rush.
Yeah.
Is how that works. So that could be easy. Owners and managers of other area stores, having seen Thompson on the news, reached out to him to report their own vanishing Tide bottles. Since then, the oddly brand-loyal crime wave has gone national, striking bodegas, supermarkets, and big box discounters from Austin to West St. Paul, Minnesota. In New York, employees at the Penn Station Duane Reade nabbed a man trying to abscond with the Tide bottles he'd stuffed into a suitcase. That's a
suitcase?
He brought which in New York makes sense. Because motherfuckers are walking all over the place in suitcases.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, people in New York are traveling a lot of times. And they got to get on the airplane later. Maybe they check out of the hotel. And you'll just see people walking around with rolling suitcases because there's so much traveling. So his heart was in the right place. It's just, when you steal something, you can't, like, he would have to make it look easy. You know what I mean? To carry the suitcase. And there's where your issue comes in.
Yeah.
You load a motherfucking suitcase with bottles of Tide.
450 ounces of Tide.
Yeah, and you're trying to push it out. That's a difficult one, you know. In Orange County, an attempted Tide theft led to a high-speed chase that included the thief crashing his SUV into an ambulance. Jesus.
What the fuck?
Last year,
why don't you just let him get away with it?
Yeah, exactly. They never do. Last year,
you know who it is.
Yeah. Last year, for the first time, detergent made the National Retail Federation's list of most targeted items, says Joseph LaRocca, founder of the trade group Retail Partners, who helped compile the report. Tide was specifically called out. I mean, people do love brands. I think, you know, you want the Tide. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to buy illegal detergent, I want the best illegal detergent.
I'm not getting great value.
Yeah. And I know that, like, Benadryl is another thing that people like to steal, but it's cheap. It's kind of allergy medicine, I think, is a really good thing to steal. Because, shit, that stuff is like, the Flonase is $25 and it's tiny. Right. You can just fucking whip that in your pocket and get out. As the cases piled up after his team's Tide theft bust, Thompson sought to answer the riddle at the center of the crime. What did thieves want with so much laundry soap? To find out, he and his unit pored over security recordings to identify prolific perpetrators, whom officers then tracked down and detained for questioning.
Hey, we're writing a book.
We never promised to go easy on them, but they were willing to talk about it, Thompson said. I guess they were bragging. It turned out the detergent wasn't being used as an ingredient in some new recipe for getting high, but instead to buy drugs themselves. Tide bottles have become ad hoc street currency, with a 150-ounce bottle going for either $5 cash or $10 worth of weed or crack. On certain corners, the detergent has earned a new nickname, Liquid Gold. The Tide people would never sanction that tagline, of course, but this unlikely black market would not have formed if they weren't so good at pushing their product.
I haven't seen it in a rap video yet.
Yeah, that is interesting. Maybe we should do that.
Just pouring Tide into glasses and clinking them.
I think we need a Tide commercial now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is from 2013, but you're right. I mean, if you look at Facebook Marketplace, you will see what people are very into. Because there are a lot of people selling boosted shit on there. A lot of Charmin toilet paper, which is another one. I mean, you know, you get that quilted shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit's expensive because that's what I use.
It's like a washcloth.
By the way, I use that stuff. I would never buy something cheaper than that because it's just that Angel Soft stuff. Brett's about to start using Angel Soft, by the way. He's divorced. He's going to get Angel Soft.
What does that mean?
You just be an Angel Soft guy because it's cheap. You'll go in there and be like, my ass ain't special.
I don't know. I'm more of a wet wipe guy.
Ew.
I like that.
Gross.
Yep.
I don't like those. You're not supposed to flush them.
Yeah, I heard that.
But you're just like, whatever, I'm moving out of this place anyway.
Right. Brian does have a bidet.
I do.
Bidet.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Yeah, I was planning on getting one of those eventually, but
well, now you can.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if your wife's like mine, she didn't want one in the house. My wife hates the bidet. She doesn't use it at all. I'm like, ugh, come on, man.
Yeah.
Get that doo-doo off your butt, you know?
Sure.
So, yeah, that is, I think, you know, a very newsworthy week of the show. I do want to throw a few little things out there about, like, that... Actually, maybe we could just do this real quick. I think it'll be... I want to throw some solidarity or whatever to the guys that stole the people that stole the Confederate monument. Have you heard about this? Have you seen this?
Oh, no, I have. I think I remember. I think I heard a headline. Please tell me.
Let's do it. We got time. We started early. On March 20th, a frantic Facebook post began circulating on Selma, Alabama Facebook pages. Have you seen this chair? The post asks. Stolen between 12 noon and 5 p.m. Friday, March 19th in broad daylight from Confederate Circle in Selma's Live Oak Cemetery. Would require 3 to 4 men to load. Well... Also, women or non-binary people could load it, too. And it could also be more than that. They could be communists and working together, get a bunch of them, and then it's less heavy to carry.
Yeah, 3 to 4 to do it, 8 to make it easy.
Yeah. Over several days, the post was updated to offer ever greater rewards for the chair's return. Finally, after offering a $5,000 reward on Monday, the post was updated again. The chair is being held for political ransom by a criminal leftist group, the post now reads. Steps are being taken in an attempt to resolve.
Wait, they're ransoming it?
Yeah. The chair,
was there a note?
I mean, we'll get to it, but I believe so. It says the chair's being held for political ransom by a criminal leftist group, the post now reads. Steps are being taken in an effort to resolve.
Oh, this is the toilet chair.
Yes, this is the chair. You know about this now?
Yeah,
you seen this? You know about this?
I did see the picture of an old Civil War like monument chair that had a hole in it for pooping.
Is it for real for pooping?
No, it just had a big hole in it. I don't know what the hole is there for.
The chair in question wasn't an ordinary piece of furniture. It was a stone monument to Jefferson Davis, the former president of the Confederate States of America. And the chair hadn't simply been stolen. It was being ransomed by a group that is now threatening to turn it into a toilet if a pro-Confederacy group doesn't agree to its demands, the Montgomery Advertiser first reported. Until late March, the Jefferson Davis Memorial Chair stood in Confederate Circle, a controversial section of Selma's old Live Oak Cemetery that contains monuments to the short-lived slave-holding secessionist movement. Among them are monuments dedicated to Davis, to Nathan Bedford Forrest, a Confederate general, and a Ku Klux Klan leader. Forrest's statue was stolen in 2012, only to be replaced by the group Friends of Forrest, a conservative apologist operation. Ugh. Benny Austin, a former spokesperson for Friends of Forrest, was among the first to report the Davis chair stolen. His March 20th Facebook post speculated that the chair had been taken in broad daylight. Austin didn't return requests. How does he know it was taken in broad daylight? How would they even know that?
They must have some witnesses, some fucking Confederate-ass witness that's like, I came to go look at my favorite stone chair.
Pictures obtained by AL.com, however, point to a late-night heist a day earlier on March 19th.
Okay.
Those pictures, which appeared to show the $500,000 chair being smuggled out of the cemetery in the dark, were provided by a group calling itself White Lives Matter. Bad name, guys. Come on. The group also sent a picture of a ransom note addressed to the group United Daughters of the Confederacy, which owns the land around the Confederate Circle. The Jefferson Davis chair is in our possession, the note reads. It is safe and stored in a secure location. We have every intention of returning it unharmed. Hell, we'll even clean it up for you. But the group said there was a catch. White Lives Matter claimed to have delivered the letter to the UDC's headquarters along with a banner bearing a quote from Assata Shakur, a former member of the Black Liberation Army currently living in Cuba after being convicted of murder. White Lives Matter demanded that the banner be displayed above the entrance to the UDC headquarters for a full day or else. Failure to surrender to this Failure to surrender to this request by the aforementioned time will result in the chair being carved into a toilet. See enclosed photograph, the group wrote, alongside a photoshopped image of the chair as a toilet. Yeah, shit just got real. So they are threatening to turn it to a toilet.
Oh, gosh. Well, I guess this is a place where I don't want to criticize other people. The ransoming is going to get your ass in jail.
You're going to go to jail.
You got away with it. Fucking
can't get caught.
Destroy it. Just destroy it and come up with different names. Hopefully nobody knows each other's real names and move to different cities or something. Like,
this is how you get caught.
This is exactly how you cannot play with this. You're not smarter. You don't. It doesn't matter if you have the will to win. These motherfucking people are going to come after you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to do a safe drop off. There's no way you're going to be able to accept money. It's just destroy it. Like, these things don't need to be. We don't want it to go back. We need to have it destroyed. That's the same thing. Like, if you have a racist Dr. Seuss book, fucking destroy it so that there's less of them in the world. Don't sell it.
Well,
don't keep circulating it.
Here's what I think. I think this is a conservative thing.
It seems like a blacks. What is? Well, I'm sorry. What was
Black's rule?
Black's rule. This does seem like a black's rules type scenario.
I mean, the more I hear about it, the more I look at it. I mean, even the name White Lives Matter. I mean,
for young people though, it makes sense.
You think so?
Yeah, the stuff I see on Instagram, I think that's right in line.
It's a bad name.
There's lots of infographics that say that.
Oh, are there?
Yeah, they're like, this is why it matters. And then they give you a bunch of information.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, man.
It could be both. I mean, it is, no definitive way of knowing.
It could be some cool people stole the fucking thing and intend to destroy it, and then some other people decided to make the ransom note to try to make $5,000, I guess.
Yeah.
But ransoming is gonna get you in jail. You just can't win that. Like, what do you think in the end you're gonna put the money in a suitcase in the trash can at a public park and then leave? Don't bring anybody with you. No, if I see one person, I'm turning this thing into a toilet, you know?
Yeah. The Trillbillies talked about it. There was a animal rights group in the early 2000s that stole the body of the mother of a person that ran a
puppy mill?
Huh?
A puppy mill or
some sort of
slaughterhouse?
Animal. I don't remember off the top of my head what it even did, but they wanted them to stop testing on animals, I think. And they also just kept ratcheting it up, and it was a bunch of people were like, no, we need to send them a fucking message. We need to let them know. And then they got 12 years in jail trying to do a fucking trade-off for fucking dead body parts and not have the police catch them.
Yeah, you just can't do that. Just isn't possible. I mean, to me, I don't know what's going on. I do think maybe this thing got stolen, and maybe this sounds like a very conservative guy. The ransom seems like a very conservative guy thing.
Yeah.
To me. To be like, yeah, now we're doing a ransom. Like, that's a...
It doesn't make any sense. To me, it doesn't make sense. It's like, all of the ones... You take them down, and then we celebrate that they're not around anymore. You don't, like, bargain to keep them back in play.
Yeah, we don't want to put them back.
Right.
Yeah. But fucking... what I would do with it is take a jackhammer and reduce it to nothing. You know?
Agreed.
Here's the thing. Jackhammer's fun as hell to use. And, I saw a guy using a jackhammer a couple weeks ago. Smallest little jackhammer. He looked ridiculous. He had to bend over to jackham. It looked like a Black & Decker jackhammer. Just terrible.
Like a home, like it was a Lowe's one?
Yep.
Like my first jackhammer?
Yeah, you gotta rent the jackhammer, bro.
Yeah.
It's like that guy I saw with the leaf blower. I saw this guy with a leaf blower one time, and it was just... There was no... And I hate leaf blowers. I'm not impressed by lawn tools, but like this thing maybe blowing like one leaf at a time and shit, and it was just like, buddy, that's pathetic. I mean, that just looks pathetic.
Start raking.
Yeah. But I don't know what's going on here. I'd like to hear what happens with the rest of this story. I'm skeptical about it. I also agree with Brett that... just destroy the goddamn thing. Just don't do toilet stuff. You got away with it.
there's so many illegal things I've done, and I was tempted to tell just casual people around me. And it's like, don't. That's how it happens. That's literally what makes it happen. Is the thread starts unraveling as soon as like you start talking about it or letting people know how it happened or alluding to it. Like you're cooked.
Right. If you have a neat story, you have to understand that other people would want to tell the neat story.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Oh, like, a mate of mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my buddy
stole a goddamn. They were going to turn it into a toilet.
Yeah, and it is a kind of a cool story to tell people. So I don't know, just rid of
self-satisfaction. You got to do it. You just got to like look at yourself in the mirror and say, "I'm fucking awesome. I did that, and I'm fucking awesome. I'm gonna take it to the grave." Just me and me that knows about it.
Yeah,
the only person that needs to know.
Yeah.
Me and me.
I like your Reservoir Dogs idea too, where it's like, I hope they don't know each other's names because they're all going to fucking jail.
Right. Yeah. So you're Slinky, I'm fucking Ketchup. That's Crisco. I have no idea what their government names, their Christian names, none of that.
I mean, I know that some people are going to go to jail for the cause, but I think like stealing the monument would have got you one amount of time, and ransoming it's going to get you a whole different amount of time.
So yeah, somebody said it's premeditation at that point. It looks like extortion. There's like all kinds of new charges that come besides just like reckless endangerment or just property damage. Yeah.
Yeah, property damage or something like that. It's like you made your point by taking it. I'm sure they would hit you with like some wire. They're always bringing up wire stuff.
Yeah.
When you when you like go for money, and
doing transactions across state lines. So then you get charges in like more than one state and shit.
Right. And again, like $5,000 is not worth.
That's all they wanted.
That's what it said, right? It said they wanted $5,000.
Fuck, that's
there was a $5,000 reward, and it's like, man, if you did a GoFundMe, we could get you $5,000.
Yeah,
I mean, because you're not going to the Daughters of the Confederacy for $500,000, right?
No.
Like they don't got that kind of fucking money.
No.
It's
just like a racist club for old people.
Where's it at? Old My Vogue, Benny Oss, March 20. Okay, here it is. Oh no, they want $500,000, but you're barking up the wrong fucking tree.
They do want the whole.
Oh
thing.
no, they don't want it. They said they're being smug. No, they want the $5,000. Is what they want, which is just.
You should have stole a fucking car instead if you wanted $5,000.
Yeah, you just got your stimulus, my bros. Yeah, don't do this. Don't ransom stuff. It's just...
Posada69 says they're loaded. Said Daughters of the Confederacy are loaded.
Okay. Then get $500,000. I know they're low. I guess they would have to be rich because they're probably daughters of slave owners.
Yeah.
is my guess. And those people all did well.
Yeah, it's rich people that want to say that they're descendants of some great Southern heritage on a plantation.
Yeah. Well, that's the show. Hopefully it was newsworthy enough for you, but hopefully we can also get our what was I going to say? Well, never mind. I forget what I was getting at.
Well, okay.
But we got some work done tonight. We did a good show. We'll keep you updated on what's going on. My car is going to be fine, so we need something else to talk about. And if you were to ask me how Brett's doing, because you don't always take the person at their word, he is handling it like a champ. He's very kind, and I would honestly say that, like, when he says there was no cheating or anything like that, I'm going to say that I can't be 100% sure, but I can be 99.9% sure that there was none of that shit going on. That's not like... It's just really a personality conflict, you know?
I am still pro-cheating, though.
Yeah, I just know you didn't do it.
Yeah, I think that with cheating, it's like if you want to do it, you should. That's kind of the indication that you shouldn't be with the person that you're with, though, so then you got to end the relationship. You can't live with yourself when you do it. Like, once you cheat, you can't look at that person in the face. You feel terrible every fucking day. I just do it all the time.
Yep.
And that's why I stopped, was because you can't fucking live with yourself at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you're feeling wild and got the inclination, go for it and go on that trip through hell. But, yeah, not for me.
Yep. All right, everybody. We love you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll be back on Sunday taking calls, and find us on social media. I'm going to start posting again. I finally feel comfortable enough. And you can follow along as I try to rebuild my life on my own and not fuck it all up. And I think I'll do good. But I will see you on Sunday. Peace.